wonder what happened after happily ever after. What if the ball gown Cinderella wore wasn't for finding a prince, but for hosting her own royal charity gala? Forget the fairy tale you know. Today, we're diving into a story where Cinderella isn't just a princess. She's a powerhouse event planner, a leader, and a philanthropist. Get ready to see how our favorite princess handles royal demands, a mountain of decorations, and an incredibly noble cause, all while planning the biggest charity event of the year. The palace was buzzing, but not with the usual courtly gossip. A royal decree had just been issued, and it sent shockwaves through the kingdom. Princess Cinderella was to be the official organizer of the first ever royal charity gala for the Enchanted Forest Restoration Fund, a cause close to her heart, but a role no one expected. The moment the news broke, the brainstorming began. And let's just say it was organized chaos. The guest list alone was a diplomatic puzzle, spanning every kingdom from here to the farthest mountains. And where do you even host an event for that many royals? The grand ballroom, while grand, suddenly felt a little small. The first real hurdles appeared almost immediately. For the gala to be a success, it needed more than just a great theme. It needed clout. Cinderella knew she had to secure endorsements from the most influential monarchs. This wasn't about sending a simple invitation. It was about presenting a compelling vision. She spent weeks traveling, meeting with kings and queens, not just asking for their attendance, but for their belief in the cause. She had to prove that restoring the enchanted forest wasn't just a nice idea, but a crucial investment in their shared future. At the same time, she was identifying potential sponsors, from the Royal Jewelers to the Mystic Weavers Guild, figuring out how their support could be woven into the very fabric of the event. Was the big picture taking shape? It was time to dive into the nitty-gritty, the logistics that could make or break a royal event. This was a from gowns to grandeur phase. Cinderella personally oversaw the vendor vetting process. This wasn't about finding good caterers or florists. It was about finding the absolute best. Every menu was tasted, every floral arrangement scrutinized, and every musician auditioned. She was looking for partners who understood the elegance and importance of the night. Her motto was simple, fit for royalty, but with heart. Then came a less glamorous but absolutely critical task: security. With so many high-profile guests from different kingdoms, some with centuries-old rivalries, the security protocols had to be flawless. Cinderella worked tirelessly with the royal guard and security experts from allied nations to map out every entrance, exit, and contingency plan. The goal was to make everyone feel not just safe, but completely at ease, so they could focus on the spirit of the evening. This unseen work was the invisible foundation upon which the entire glittering affair would be built. Of course, every gala needs its glass slipper moment, that one element that makes it unforgettable. For Cinderella, this was a visual identity. She wanted every piece, from the first glimpse of the invitation to the final ballroom decor, to tell a story. The invitations weren't just paper. They were crafted from recycled materials, embossed with a delicate silver leaf, and sealed with the wax stamp of a young sapling. The ballroom design itself was a masterpiece, transforming the space into a living, breathing echo of the enchanted forest, with twinkling lights like fireflies and majestic centerpieces that looked like they'd grown right out of the tables. It was elegance with a purpose. Just when things seemed to be running smoothly, the inevitable last-minute dilemma struck. A week before the gala, a rival kingdom, known for its political games, suddenly demanded their delegation be seated at the head table, threatening to withdraw their significant donation if their request wasn't met. It was a classic power play. Then, a day later, a crucial vendor, the one providing the magical floating lanterns for the grand reveal, had a major hiccup. Their entire shipment was stuck in the storm. Panic started to creep into the organizing committee. This is where Cinderella's true leadership shone. Instead of panicking, she became a beacon of calm. Faced with a seating chart standoff, she didn't give in or escalate. Instead, she arranged a private meeting. With grace and a surprising amount of strategic thinking, she proposed a new circle of honor seating arrangement, which had no head, placing all the major benefactors in equally prominent positions. It was a diplomatic masterstroke that preserved everyone's dignity. As for the lantern crisis, she rallied her team, and within hours, they had sourced an alternative from local artisans, turning a potential disaster into a beautiful showcase of local craftsmanship. What was truly remarkable, though, was how these challenges fostered something unexpected: collaboration. Seeing Cinderella handle the pressure with such poise inspired others. Kings and queens who hadn't spoken in years found themselves working together to solve minor logistical issues. Knights from rival armies were seen coordinating on security details. The gala, even before it began, was already building bridges. It was becoming more than just a fundraiser. It was a symbol of unity, proving that a shared goal could be more powerful than any old grudge. The spirit of camaraderie was palpable. And then, the night arrived, the night of 1,000 stars. One by one, the carriages pulled up to the palace. It was a stunning montage of iconic fairy tale characters making their grand entrances. Snow White and her prince, Beauty and her once beastly husband, Rapunzel and Flynn, and so many others, all dressed in their finest. The air crackled with excitement and glamour. It was a sight to behold. A living storybook unfolding before everyone's eyes. Inside, the evening was filled with unforgettable moments. There were captivating performances by the kingdom's greatest bards and a breathtaking ballet that told the story of the forest. But the most powerful moments were the quiet interactions. Cinderella moved through the crowd, not as a hostess, but as a friend, sharing stories about the forest, thanking each guest personally, and connecting them to the cause on an emotional level. You could see the mission resonating with everyone, turning the night from a party into a collective purpose. The climax of the evening was a grand reveal, as the magical lanterns were released, floating up to the enchanted ceiling. A hush fell over the ballroom. Cinderella stepped onto the stage, her voice clear and full of emotion. She announced the grand total raised for the Enchanted Forest Restoration Fund. The number was staggering, far exceeding anyone's wildest expectations. A wave of applause and cheers erupted, a sound of pure joy and shared victory. The impact was palpable. Everyone in that room knew they had been a part of something truly special. The effects of the gala were felt long after the last guest departed. A post-gala glow settled over the realms. There was a kingdom-wide appreciation for Cinderella's efforts, with stories of her leadership and vision shared in town squares and royal courts alike. The success of the Enchanted Forest Restoration Fund became a model, laying the groundwork for future philanthropic endeavors. The royals, having experienced the power of working together, were already discussing the next inter-kingdom charity project. This event solidified Cinderella's legacy. It showed that her spirit wasn't just about kindness and enduring hardship, but about proactive dedication and a deep compassion that could inspire real, tangible change. She proved that happily ever after isn't an ending. It's a beginning, a chance to use your position, your voice, and your heart to make the world a better place. Cinderella's story continues, not in the pages of an old book, but in the new forests that will grow because of her. Thank you so much for joining me on this reimagined fairy tale journey. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content that looks beyond the final chapter. Let me know in the comments which fairy tale character you'd like to see take on a new role next. Until next time, keep dreaming big.